Hey everybody and welcome back to the Spider-Man review series. Last time we looked at the mess that was Spider-Man 3 on the Xbox 360 for the second time, and I called it a bit of a letdown after the amazing jump between those first two movie tie-ins. Treyarch played it safe and just enhanced the graphics and hoped that the open city mechanic would be enough to satisfy gamers on a second trip. However, combat was too button mashy and the mission structure wasn't really fun. On top of that, the game barely followed the plot of the film, which I guess is a good thing or a bad thing depending on your feelings towards the film. But after the last two games had done such a decent job of merging an original story into the film's plot, this was like a waste, to be honest. Sure, the city was bigger, and for some reason they decided to add an underground subway system to explore, but without engaging missions or side activities, there wasn't really much reasons to stay around or even replay it. Hell, I replayed the first two Spider-Man games countless times just to have fun. I can count the times I've played Spider-Man 3 on one hand. The first month that the game came out in 2007, the second time was in 2014 for the first set of Spider-Man reviews, and the final time was just a few months ago when I had to make the second review video. But I've gone on long enough about how disappointing the Xbox 360 version is, so let's dive into the PS2 version, cause holy hell, it's on a whole other level of bad. Now, I had heard about this version around the same time as the next-gen versions, mostly because Activision was promoting each version of the game as having an exclusive feature. So, the next-gen versions on PS3 and Xbox 360 would obviously have the better graphics, a playable section of New Goblin in addition to the villains Kingpin, Scorpion, and Rhino, while the Wii and the PS2 version would get motion controls, for the Wii anyway, and exclusive villains Morbius and Shriek. Personally, I don't think making a game for the last generation of consoles was a smart idea for a movie tie-in to do, but I kind of get where the headspace was at. Spider-Man 3 was released only a few months after the PS3 and the Wii had launched, and a year after the 360 had come out. So obviously not everyone's going to have these new systems, and of course Activision wants the game to sell, decent, so making a last-gen port of the game seems like a smart business move. However, there was also supposed to be an Xbox and GameCube version that were planned, but they were eventually phased out, leaving the PS2 as the sole previous-gen version to stay in the ring. And because the Wii was not a powerhouse of a system like the 360 and the PS3, Activision chose the Wii version to just be ported over to the PS2. However, don't be fooled into thinking that the PS2 version is just a watered-down play-by-play of the 360 version, because it's not. Basically, it's what happens if you took the 360 version, then watered that down onto the Wii, and then watered that down onto the PS2. And that's pretty much what we've got here. So the story actually starts in the same place, in the Carlisle building being attacked by the bombers, and hey, we even get the same opening cutscene, although it's ripped from the next-gen versions and it's playing out as an FMV, not as an in-game cinematic. After this, we get the same opening intro from the consoles, but after that, we take a turn for the worst. Unlike the next-gen versions, there's no mission select in this version. Now, after the tutorial stuff in those versions, you could choose which mission strand you wanted to do. Did you want to help the Wolf? Did you want to attack the Apocalypse, Dragon Tails, or Arsenic Candy gangs? Or go after the Lizard? But here you move on a linear track similar to how the story missions popped up in the last game. The opening three missions involve Carlisle the Mad Bomber, though it's not the same missions from the next-gen version. His gang tries to blow up a building, and then you fight him on a roof, though hey, at least this time you get to fight him and not the helicopter he rode in on. After that, you deal with the Lizard in three missions that are based on areas from the next-gen versions, but they're severely scaled down. You chase him across the city, then you fight him in the sewers before he runs off, and then you deal with him a third time after fighting Kraven, and you battle Connors in his mutant lizard form. After those missions, you get to the exclusive content involving Morbius and Shriek. Shriek has been infected by the symbiote, and then somehow she turns Michael into a vampire. Yeah, I don't really get it either, especially the part where the symbiote has attached itself to a woman whose superpower is legit the thing that it's weak against. But hey, new content and new missions. Like, it's a cool thing to tie one of the original villains into the plot, because that's how the first two movie games played around with the story. However, the game never bothers to explain how the symbiote got on her, and even when Peter realizes that Loud Noise is weak in the damn thing, he doesn't try it on Shriek to free her from its control. After you complete those four missions, the game rushes you to the finish line. You're brought to the battle with Sandman in the sewers, then the Mary Jane scare ride, and then the final battle at the construction site. In fact, a ton of the film's missions happen way earlier here than they did in the next-gen versions. For example, after the first few missions with Carlisle, you fight Harry, and then right after that you get the Black Suit, which didn't happen in the next-gen versions. However, that's all the story content. The missions involving helping the Wolf, freeing Scorpion, dealing with Mecha Biocon, name we made up because we're too lazy to look at a comic book and just use Oscorp. The gang missions leading to the fight with Kingpin, they're all not here. In fact, some of the games have been replaced. For whatever reason, the Arsenic Candy gang isn't here, and the Carlisle Mad Bombers are now their own gang. I legit beat this game in under 3 hours, and it's my first time playing. Say what you want about the next-gen versions being criminally short, but at least you couldn't speed through it that fast on a first playthrough. I honestly didn't realize that the whole meat of the next-gen versions were exclusive to those versions. Like, I assumed we were going to have most of those missions and then just maybe replace a few with the Morbius and Shriek content. There were 42 main missions in the next-gen versions to the 24 that are here. And mind you, 3 of those are based on the film's plot in both of them, and the Lizard Strand mission here is the same as the ones from the next-gen versions. So technically there's only less than 20 missions that are wholesomely unique to the PS2 version, and this game was $50 when it was released. I mean, I paid like $20 for it, which I still thought was pricey for a 15-year-old game that I knew was going to be a piece of crap, but honestly, I figured there was going to be some content here, you know? The game's worth $10, $5 at best. I've seen some sites pricing it close to full original retail price, and that's insane. Please, please, if you want to experience this, I don't think you should be paying more than $10 for this game. Seriously, maybe like $1.50, like $2, because, well, I mean, I haven't really gotten to the problems yet, have I? But, I mean, this alone, from what I'm telling you, content-wise alone, what's here is nothing. You're paying $50 for nothing. I mean, if you really need to play Spider-Man 3, and honestly you really shouldn't, regardless of the system it's for, then I'd say you probably should just stick to the next-gen versions, because those are the more superior versions. I mean, granted, the bar is low enough, so it's not like it's, you know, crazy good, but I mean, they have issues, but at least they have content too, so, you know, it's something better than this one, I guess? Now, like I said, the black suit is given to you very quickly in this version, as opposed to at the halfway mark of the next-gen versions. This is because the game allows you to switch between the suits at will. Now, don't get all excited, as the suit is a glorified power-up. Now, I know what you're thinking. Wait a minute, Chris. That's great. That's what Web of Shadows did. We were able to control, you know, the suits at will and switch between them at any time. Don't try to get excited and think it's anything like Web of Shadows, because it's not. The suit is a glorified power-up. See, you can switch to it any time during a mission, and it grants you stronger attacks. Also, there's no upgrades to the suit. Hell, the game won't even let you upgrade your standard abilities while you're wearing the damn thing, which is complete BS if you ask me. Seriously, you can't even go into the menu to level up the regular red and blue suited Spider-Man during these segments. You have to wait until you take the suit off. The suit plays well enough, and I did feel like I was taking out enemies faster. However, you can't wear the suit for long. See, the longer you wear it, the screen will be covered by this dark filter effect, and that's your cue to take it off, or Peter will pass out, and you'll have to start the mission over again. And of course, taking off the suit isn't as easy as, you know, just pressing a button like in Web of Shadows. Nope, you gotta play a short quick time minigame to get the suit off. And then you have to wait a minute. An actual minute before you can put the damn thing on again. Seriously, this game doesn't do the random quick time button presses as bad as the next gen versions did, but like, what the hell is this? This doesn't even make sense. What is the black suit not really, what is the black suit not really attached to me and Peter's just pulling the symbiote completely off and then storing it somewhere before he takes it out again? Like, what am I pulling off me? Regardless of that stupidity, it's like I said, the black suit is a power-up in this version. You're having issues with enemies and you're fighting in red and blue, so activate rage mode. There's the black suit. You get to beat up enemies for a little bit, the game then puts the filter effect on, you gotta take it off, and it's gone. It's a timed, glorified power-up. There we go. You just deal with the enemies and the boss until you revert back to the red and blue suit before you rinse and repeat this system again. Combat's okay in that it never feels as buggy as the next-gen version felt, but it's still kinda off. And as a bonus, like I said, you can upgrade your moves and abilities unlike the next-gen versions. These upgrades can be extended combos, or extensions to your health bar, or new web attacks. I like the system because the reward system for new combos in the next-gen versions was so half-assed, but you legit just got new moves at random and the health upgrades whenever the game felt like giving them to you. At least here there's some freedom to choose how you want to unlock all this stuff. Though honestly, even with the new combos and combo extensions, or even those web perch moves which have you jumping onto an enemy while they're webbed up, combat never gets more creative than just mashing the same light and heavy combos. They removed the slow-mo button that was in the next game version, so instead you just get to dodge out of the way. Your spider sense will go off, but good luck hearing it or seeing the animation for it because it goes off so fast and it's not easy to spot in some cases, though other times it's as loud as hell and you'll definitely see it. I made my way through most fights just spamming the basic combos and not doing anything fancy. The only time you really need to use it is when you come up against shielded enemies, though sometimes you can attack them through the shield, so the hell if I know how this combat system works. I guess the one cool thing I could say about this system is that when you buy a new move or ability, Bruce Campbell chimes in with some witty banter about the name of the move and what it does. Speaking of Bruce, he actually pops in a bit more here in this version than the next gen one, which is okay by me. He's a welcome addition anytime. And with the game this drab and dull, I need his dry humor to give me something to prevent me from turning the system off. Boss fights are nothing special. They follow the tradition of the boss will be unhittable for a short phase before dropping their guard on you and then you wail on them. Most of the fights play out the same in this regards. What takes out most of the challenge of any of these fights is the health pickups that sometimes drop in for no reason at all, essentially making it very hard to lose the boss fights. And the fights are not bad by any mean, they're just not worth remembering. I legit didn't have any fun fighting any of them. The worst fight by far is the second fight against Shriek. She makes Peter see her gang members as his friends, so you can actually punch Harry, Jameson, and Mary Jane as they say pointless derogatory comments towards you. For some reason, putting the black suit on turns them back into the regular gang members and makes you able to hit Shriek. However, once you take the suit off, you'll have to start this process over again, but it's incredibly easy to deal with. You see, the gang members have no projectile attacks to hurt you with, so all you really have to do to win easy is stick to a wall, wait out that minute timer before you put the black suit back on, put it on, and then go back to hitting the enemies and then beat up Shriek. They did fix that god-awful mutant lizard fight for what it's worth. Unlike in the next-gen versions, you don't have to throw him into the generator with that confusing control method. You just have to jump onto him and then guide him into them when you jump on him. Also, thankfully, unlike the next-gen bosses, every hit takes damage off of them, not like how I legit kept trying to attack Kingpin and nothing happened until I used the correct super move on him. I also liked that the game limited where you could web around during the first Sandman fight, so it felt less chaotic. The new Goblin fight was also a bit better, whereas in the next-gen version you had to do those several QTEs before you could even get off the glider. The sight of Peter beating up Harry on the streets while he tries to ram into me never looked or felt as cool as the fight from the film. Here you stay on the glider the whole time, but you have to avoid traffic by moving the glider into open lanes in order to start the QTE that will damage Harry. It's a bit simplistic and it definitely over-relies on the QTEs, but I still think this looks more like the fight from the film and less goofy than the next-gen version. Design is a mess, as rather than rely on the hero point mechanics of the last game to decently pace out the game's story, this time the game tries to pad out the length in the worst way possible. See, sometimes after a mission, the game will not let you proceed until the next one until you hunt down some gang members to learn where you need to go. This involves finding an informant from the gang on the map, which is always the same looking guy, by the way, no matter which gang you're choosing to follow. It's always the same guy. Literally, the same character model. Every time. Lazy. This starts a patrol tour, which is several of the random crime missions that happen in the city, just sort of copy and pasted together. For example, you might be told that a missing person is in a garbage bin. You'll free them, and then that person will tell you that there's some people being attacked on the other side of town. You'll race there, kick ass, and find evidence that you can then bring to a cop. And then the cop will tell you about more gang members causing trouble, and off you go. I don't know how all these people know about the next crime in progress, but it's a video game. So you do like 4 or 5 of these little random missions, and then once you complete it, you're brought back to the map, and suddenly you know where the next mission is. This is such blatant padding, it's not even funny. You will legit move too fast through story missions, so the designers clearly figured that this mechanic would slow you down a bit. I know the last game essentially padded itself out with collecting the set number of hero points, but at least each chapter of the game had a big mission that was fun and engaging, and then once it was over, maybe you needed to do one trick race or help out a group or 2 of people, and then you would be able to move forward. And you could even gain extra points to get a head start on the next goal that the game would set. But here it's almost like the developers might as well have come to your house, smacked the controller out of your hands, and held it away from you for 10 minutes for all the system is worth. There are collectibles, but not nearly as many as the next-gen version had. There are Spider-Man emblems and meteorites. There's 50 emblems and 100 meteorites. As far as my research went, and that was a few Google searches and one game FAQ forum post, mind you, collecting the meteorites just adds 100% and you get nothing for it. If you get the 50 emblems, you unlock the black suit again, which is great if you really missed playing with that mind-numbing QTE event each time you have to take the damn thing off. So it's really not worth swinging around this ugly-ass city trying to look for these things, and good luck spotting them as sometimes they might not pop up unless you're really close to them. You know, like how it was easy to spot collectibles in both Spider-Man 2 and Ultimate Spider-Man? You know, they had like that, you know, that glow in Spider-Man 2 because they were yellow and they were bright, so at night you really see them. And even the ones from Ultimate Spider-Man stood out from everything because they spun around real fast. Yeah, that's not happening here. Which brings us now to presentation, which is a flat-out mess from start to finish. This game is essentially if you took the 360 version, then stripped it down to run on the Wii, before again stripping it down to run on the PS2. There are cutscenes from the next-gen versions, like I said, that play out as FMVs, and these look decent, but they're distracting because they represent areas and levels that clearly look nothing like where you just were during gameplay. The in-game cutscenes are even worse at that, and there's a few of them to make up for the Morbius and Shriek plotlines not having been in the next-gen versions. I also legit got curious as to whether beating a mission before one of the in-game cutscenes occurred, depending on the suit I was wearing, would trigger an alternate cutscene. I started to think this because I kept finishing each mission in the black suit, and the scene would have Peter doing his best evil persona. So, just for fun, I threw on the red suit to see if it changed anything, and sure enough it doesn't. Yeah, the cutscene will accurately reflect which suit you were wearing, but the dialogue is always the same no matter what suit, which makes it really strange when you get a cutscene with Peter in the red and blue suit, but he's acting like he should be in the black one. Textures are bland, blurry, ugly, take your pick of adjectives there. Seriously, look at this street for Christ's sake. Central Park looks disgusting and almost unfinished, and so do some of the buildings. The NPCs are scary looking, and sometimes multiples of the same ones will be standing in close proximity. Like, sometimes you'll have to save 2 of the same looking NPCs in the same mission. Guess there's a lot of identical twins in New York City. Poppin' is atrocious. You can legit be standing still and see people and cars magically appear out of nowhere. Try falling off a building and empty city streets become filled with appearing and disappearing cars. The frame rate holds up, except for, the one time you really need it to, which is during the web swinging. As you boost across webs or quickly swing to the next building, the frame rate goes into a nosedive to the point where I legit couldn't stand web swinging. Like, you can legit see the frames drop as you arch your way out of a web. As I was playing, I was confused as to why they just didn't use the map and the graphics from the last game. It seems like that was the starting point here, but then they ran this bloom filter over everything and made the graphics slightly more realistic than what was in the last game, and this is the result. I understand they're trying to make the game look similar to the next-gen versions because the bloom filter was all over that one, but like, did no one stop and look at this and go, yeah, nah, we probably shouldn't. This looks like a beta build that you see leaked on the internet like years after the fact. Like, it's like, hey, did you know there was a Spider-Man 3 game in development for the PS2? But nope, this is a real game, and it really looks like this. The music's okay because it's ripped straight from the next-gen versions. It's the same tracks used while swinging around the city, though here it might only play in for a few seconds before fading out. And the voice cast is also decent enough. They got Tobey Maguire to say a couple more, evil Peter lines, which is, okay. And they even got some of the actors back from the film, such as Topher Grace and J.K. Simmons. So that adds to the authenticity, but again, I don't think these big-name actors are saving the presentation. It still looks pretty cheesy and bad, regardless of who's voicing these characters. Character models were kind of all over the place in the 360 version, but here, yikes, it's pretty bad. Overall, Spider-Man 3 on PS2, oof. Just oof. Actually, if I could score this, it would be oof, because literally I don't think a number should be deserving of this game. I don't know. It's a mess. To be fairly honest, this is what happens when you make a previous generation console version game of a game that was clearly being hightailed for the current gen Xbox 360, PS3. Yes, I understand you don't want to leave people out, and obviously you want the game to sell well, so you throw it onto other systems to give everyone a fair shot at it. But seriously, there should have been a point in development where somebody walked into the room, looked at this, and thought, oh, hell no. I mean, I don't get why it didn't just copy and paste the Spider-Man 2 thing. Like, why not just take the same design, the same map, the same graphics, the same style and everything, and just keep it the same then, if that was the case? Because clearly whatever they did to try to up the graphics to make it kind of compete with the, the next-gen versions wasn't happening. But, this kind of stuff happened all the time. I mean, back when the 360 and the PS3 launched, there were a ton of games. Spider-Man isn't the only one that released alongside next-generation counterparts that also came out on PS2 and Wii. And they're pretty much what you expect. It's like if you took the next-gen game and then smeared Vaseline all over your eyes and then tried to squint. That's what it kind of looks like. It's not good in any sense of the word. I don't know what they were trying to do here. It's just, I mean, Spider-Man 3 was already a disappointment, and I don't know if I kind of thought maybe this game would be slightly better. I mean, I've seen pictures of what this game looks like, so I went in already bar very low, but I figured, hey, maybe the combat's fun. I mean, graphics are graphics. It doesn't have to be the be-all, end-all, but it was just so bad, especially coming right after playing Spider-Man 2, going into this. It was just like, where did the effort go? Where did the design go? Like, what? Did no one think this was a bad idea? Like, no one said anything. Like, they let this thing sell for $50. Like, and the Wii version's just as worse. The Wii version looks exactly like this, plays exactly like this. The only difference, motion control. So from what I hear, the motion controls were actually kind of good. Made you feel like you were swinging around. But again, that frame rate probably sucked. So, I mean, guess it makes you feel nauseous too. Overall, look, if you're going to play Spider-Man 3, and again, like I said earlier, you really shouldn't. Just stick to the first two movie-based games and then bail. Play Ultimate Spider-Man instead if you're looking for three really good, PS2-era Spider-Man titles, but just stay away from this one. Please don't go near this. Please don't buy this game. If you see it used really cheap, like $1, and you're interested and you want to see how terrible it is, go for it. I honestly wasn't even intending to review this version of the game, but I saw it online for a pretty decent price, and I was like, you know what? I gotta. I mean, I didn't want to just look at the Xbox 360 version again. I wanted to see if it got worse on PS2. So, I kind of jumped into this one on my own. I really should have probably thought about it before I did it, but, wanted to see how bad it really was, and yep, it definitely lived up to my expectations. It was pretty bad. So again, play the 360, play the PS3 version. Again, if you can find those cheap, then you've experienced Spider-Man 3. Don't buy this. Don't play this. Don't look at this. If you want to look at it, someone else has probably played it online anyway, so just take a look at that if you're looking for like a gameplay footage of it. It's bad. Don't engage in this. This is definitely one of the worst Spider-Man games I've ever played in my life. So come back next time as the Spider-Man review series continues. Thanks for watching.